Okay, let's talk about something that feels like it's everywhere right now. This obsession with optimizing, well, everything. Our bodies, our schedules, you name it. We're all supposed to be hitting peak performance 24/7. But what if this whole chase for perfection is actually a trap, a paradox that has some pretty unexpected consequences?
I mean, you've probably felt it, right? That constant pressure to max out every single second of your day. So it makes you wonder, is all this optimizing really making us better? Or is it maybe leading us down a totally different path?
So first up, let's really define what we're talking about here. You've probably seen the word thrown around online. It's all captured in this idea of the maxing phenomenon. So what is it really? And where did it even come from?
And you see this stuff everywhere online. I mean, there's looks maxing, health maxing, even productivity maxing. The whole idea is simple, right? You just take one part of your life and you push it to the absolute utter limit to get the maximum possible result.
And the image it sells is so appealing. That person who wakes up at 5 a.m., has the perfect body, the perfect morning routine, and a career that's just always going up. It's like the highlight reel of what a person could be.
But if you look just under that super polished surface, you find something else. You find this constant low-humming pressure, this need to keep up, to do more, to be more. And this right here is where the paradox really starts to kick in.
This pressure, it leads us straight into what you could call the self-improvement trap. It's that weird point where all your good intentions kind of go sideways, and that real desire to be better just spirals into something way more demanding and a lot less forgiving. And what's so sneaky about this trap is how it starts. Because honestly, it usually starts out feeling really good. You start a new habit. Maybe you start going to the gym, and then you see some results, and that feels amazing. So naturally, you get motivated to do even more. It's that classic positive feedback loop. And then something just flips. The progress you were so proud of last week, suddenly it feels like nothing. The results aren't happening fast enough. That feeling of satisfaction gets replaced by this nagging voice that says it's just not enough. And this is the paradox, right here in a nutshell. We jump into the stuff expecting, hey, this is going to build my confidence. I'm going to feel great about myself. But the reality, it's often the complete opposite. The more you optimize, the more you compare, the more you just feel behind. It's like the finish line just keeps getting pushed further and further away.
So what is actually going on here? If we want to understand the trap, we have to get to the real root of it. And that means we need to draw a really important line between two very different ideas: the search for growth versus the chase for perfection. Here's the shift. What started out as this internal journey, personal growth, it slowly turns into an external one. You stop measuring yourself against the person you were yesterday and start measuring yourself against some impossible photoshopped ideal you saw online. It all becomes about comparison.
So the biggest takeaway here is this. When you're stuck in that trap, you're not really growing anymore. You're just chasing an idea of perfection that you can't ever reach. And perfection, it's a ghost. You can chase it forever, but you will never, ever catch it. All right, so if maxing is the trap, how do we climb out? Well, the answer is all about shifting our entire perspective. It's time to build a healthier, more sustainable way forward by redefining real growth. The first and honestly most important step is to completely change the goal. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is not to max out every single area of your life. That is just a recipe for burnout. It's as simple as that. Instead, the focus has to be on improving what is genuinely, authentically important to you. Not to some algorithm, not to an influencer on Instagram, but to you. This is all about matching your efforts with your own values, not somebody else's expectations. So, what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it really boils down to three key things. First, find your focus. Seriously, just pick one or two things that genuinely matter to you. Then, choose consistency over intensity. Those small daily efforts, they will always beat those huge burnout-inducing sprints. And finally, number 3, embrace sustainability. Just ask yourself, can I see myself still doing this in a year? If the answer is no, it's probably not a good plan.
Let's just put these two mindsets side by side. Maxing is like an extreme sprint. It's a frantic race against everyone else, trying to catch this impossible idea of perfection. Real growth, though? That's a marathon. It's all about consistent effort, focused only on your own personal progress, day after day. So let's leave it with this. Try to tune out all that noise about maxing for a second and just ask yourself this one simple question. What does real, sustainable growth actually look like for me? Because the answer to that question, well, that's where the real work begins.